Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're back with another iteration of the tiny versus giant challenges. Today, we're gonna be fishing every variety of fluke that Zoom makes. So we have the tiny fluke right there. I've used that one for spotted bass and stuff like that before. It's tough to fish how I'm gonna fish it today. Everything we're gonna fish on a weightless Texas rig or nose hook. I literally do not have a hook small enough to Texas rig one of these guys. So in that case, we're gonna put it on a nose hook. We'll talk through all the rigging and gear as we go through today's video. If you've never seen one of these before, what I do is I try and catch a fish on each one of the size of bait that they make, and then we see which one is the best. So we're gonna have that one, and then from there, I did try to get everything in the same color, but they were out of stock on watermelon red in the regular fluke. So we have watermelon seed, closest one that I could find. So we have the regular fluke after that, and then we have the Super Fluke Junior, the regular Super Fluke, which is probably one of my favorite baits of all time, and then the Magnum Super Fluke, which I have literally never fished. But we're down here in Florida, so maybe we'll catch a Magnum bass on a Magnum fluke. But first things first, we gotta start with the tiny guy, and we gotta rig up our rods. So we're gonna get rigged up here. We'll meet you up on the front deck, and we're gonna talk through how we're gonna fish the tiny fluke first and try and catch us a fish on it. Okay, we just got us bait number one rigged up here. And I think this is gonna be about as close to impossible as a bait has ever been on this challenge, but we're gonna try it anyway. I typically use this guy as a drop shot bait, a scrounger head bait for like schooling fish. Granted, we do have some schooling fish, but I don't know how well this is gonna work. I actually hear fish busting on bait around me. I'm trying to see where they're at. I think that's gonna be one of the only ways I catch a fish on this, is literally nail one right in the head as it's schooling and catch one on it. I had to rig this up with a Gamakatsu size 1 Aaron Martin's drop shot hook, and all we're gonna do is just nose hook the bait like that. I actually did just see a fish jump right next to the boat right here. Oh my gosh, I can't even cast this thing. This is gonna be impossible. It doesn't even sink. I have this on a medium heavy spinning rod. So I got 15-pound test braid on here, my regular Shimano Sedona, and an 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader, because that's the lightest I got. It casts okay. I think we're just gonna have to work around and see if we can find us a fish that's dumb enough to actually bite this, or small enough. I think there's a lot of small fish in this lake. I think that could be the opportunity for this bait, is literally finding a fish so small that it can't eat any other size fluke. There's fish busting on bait over there, and I'm gonna catch one on this thing. Oh, he bit it. I had a bite. That was crazy. I actually had one bite it. Now we just gotta see if we can get one to keep it in its mouth. I can't believe fish ate that. Oh my gosh, I got one. We did it. We caught one. I can't believe it. That was way too quick. He choked it too. That was way too quick. Let me put the power poles down. Maybe we can get two in one spot. I can't believe that. I mean, I know the thing is absolutely tiny, fish and bait, but like, I'm telling you, this thing darts in a straight line. It has zero action, whatever. You twitch it, it just goes like this. Does not dart left, right, look like a dying bait fish, anything. I mean, they ate it immediately. I've been fishing all day. I've thrown all kinds of baits, caught nothing. I had 2 fish immediately bite that thing. I kind of want to throw it again, but we're on to the next one. So let's throw him back, a little micro guy. Get him back in the water, brighten you up so you can see what I'm doing here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy off, and I'm literally going to just put the original fluke on here. I'm thinking the rigging is the same. I should rig it the same way because it's pretty much the same thing. Actually, that's as big as a regular fluke. Let me try a little bit bigger hook to give it some action. What we're gonna do, we're gonna keep it on the spinning rod. I might regret this because I don't know how well I'm gonna hook up. We're gonna keep it on the spinning rod here because this bait's actually a decent size. The tiny fluke compared to this, huge difference. Let me show you real fast. So this is the tiny fluke and that's the regular guy. I mean, that's a huge size difference on bait. Usually there should be a size in between that. Okay, what we're gonna do to make life easy here, I'm gonna get this to sink a little bit better by putting this on a 1/0 hook. I actually found a pack of 1/0 extra wide gaps. I was doing this challenge the other day with Senkos, and the smallest I had was like a 2, I think. So I actually found these 1/0s, and I think they're gonna work. Actually, this hook might be too small for this bait. Let's see. No, that looks good. There's no belly slot on the original flukes like there is on the super flukes. So Texas rigging this is going to be a pain to get it to be straight. That's about as straight as I'm gonna get it. I think hookups is actually gonna go down on this rather than up, but let's try it. We got you rolling here. There's fish popping in front of me still. Let's see if we can get a second one right here. That would be amazing. If we could just get number 2. Oh my gosh, that casts a mile compared to that other one. Funny, I said that was gonna be the closest to impossible out of everything, and that was probably gonna be the easiest one. That took like 5 casts. This one darts so much better. So much better. There we go. Got that one. Also another micro, but we got 2 checked off already. Flukes just work. I mean, it is what it is. Flukes, Senkos, they just work. But that's a little guy. We're gonna throw him back. I'm debating if let's see what we got here. Let me throw this guy back and let's talk through this here. Okay, so I have a 1/0 hook on a bait caster with 14-pound test fluorocarbon. These fish are still going crazy in here. I might catch me another one. I have a bait caster with 14-pound test fluorocarbon in there, but the spinning rod seems to get a little bit better action, and honestly, the junior fluke might actually be smaller than the fluke we just fished. This is the junior. Yeah, it's actually smaller. So the junior fluke, junior super fluke specifically, is smaller than the regular, like the original fluke. So we're gonna do the same thing, leave him on the spinning rod because it'll cast better. We're gonna Texas rig him up on this same 1/0 hook. And we're gonna see what we can do with that. Now we're back to the watermelon red for the rest of the challenge. And I'm also debating if I'm gonna cast again. If I can get another one to bite, I'm not gonna say no. But it seems like I'm cheating by just sitting here and picking off these little schooling fish. So we're gonna keep moving here in a second if I get a bite or if I don't. We'll go try some new area so that I'm not just camping on one spot picking them off. What's the action look like on this guy? Oh, that looks really good. So far, best action is the Fluke Junior. I will give him that. That looks better than anything so far. The tiny fluke looks like garbage. Makes a good bait, depending upon... Giants are blowing up over there. Let's start working our way around the lake. The tiny fluke works really good depending on your application and what you're using it for. The regular fluke also worked very good, but it depends how you're rigging it, what you're using it for. It looked good in the water, but I think without that belly slot, you're gonna miss a lot of hookups on that, where you could throw this Super Fluke Junior and it would have technically a better action because this looks even better in the water. This looks better than a regular Zoom Fluke. I mean, we'll find out here shortly, but I think this has a better action than the original Zoom Super Fluke. But overall, it depends on what you're using it for. on how you're gonna rig it. If I were picking for myself, drop shots and stuff like that, I'd use the 2 types of flukes, just the original flukes, not the super flukes. And then so far, depending upon how I'd rig it, I'd either use the Super Fluke Junior or the regular Super Fluke. The only one I've ever fished besides the tiny fluke out of everything that we're gonna fish today is the original Super Fluke with the belly slot. So far, I've caught a fish on the actual original fluke, which I've never used before. And then I've never actually fished the Super Fluke Junior before, so we're doing that right now as well. Oh, we got one. That was crazy. He's micro. Okay. He's really, really small, but it counts. Yeah, I guess it counts. We'll throw him back. Let me see. There's still fish busting over here. This is just working really well. This is the first thing that's went easy for me today. I already know the Magnum fluke is gonna be like near impossible, but we'll see. That and the baby one were my 2 biggest concerns. And I think I had no right to be concerned about the baby one, but the big one, I don't know. No more bites, but I am counting that. Counts as a fish. I'm going by the same rules I've done on this challenge for every other one. A fish is a fish. It counts. If we get done and we want to fish a little bit extra, we'll throw a different bait on. Now, we are on to the actual Super Fluke, the one that probably everybody has ever fished, and probably one of the best bass lures of all time. I am going to cut off the hook that I have on here and swap it out for a bigger one. Where did I put that hook? Okay, so I have a 1/0 on here on my bait caster with 14-pound test. I'm gonna chop that guy off because I was gonna put the Junior on here, but I just knocked out the Junior, so I don't need to do that anymore. So I'm gonna go with a 3/0. And then when we get to the Magnum guy, I have a 6 or a 7/0 if I really want to get into that. I'll probably need the big enough hook, but I also have that rigged on a little bit heavier rod with 17-pound test fluorocarbon instead of 14. We'll see how it goes. For now, we got to catch a fish on this first, which I would be shocked if I can't get one on this. The original Super Fluke. There are fish literally throwing themselves out of the water right next to me. All right, we're gonna leave this spot because I feel like I'm cheating, just catching them while they're schooling all on this grass edge. I would love to just stay here and pound them, but this feels like cheating, and I don't like to cheat. So we're gonna go across the lake, we're gonna find some new fish, and we're gonna use those 2 baits and try and catch them. So we'll see you on the other side of the lake. Got that one. Slack. He ate it and ran right at me. But we got one. So far, all the fish have been the same size, which is also what has me concerned on the next one. So that was the regular Super Fluke. We're gonna go to the Magnum. We're gonna fish it. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna throw this guy back so he doesn't die. We're gonna fish it as long as we can and try and catch us a fish. We may not actually catch one, but we're gonna try. If we do, great. If not, what we're gonna do before it gets too dark or we have to go in for dinner or anything like that, we're gonna go back to the Junior that's sitting right there and see how long it takes to get a bite somewhere else on the lake other there, because we caught them in like 30 seconds over there, and I think it's just because they were schooling. If we can pick that up and catch a fish almost immediately with that, I'll give it to the small baits on this one. I don't know if it's because the fish in this lake are just really small or if they like that smaller profile because the bait fish is small and that's what they're keying in on. But we can use that to determine our theory at the end of the day. But for now, we're gonna suck it up. We're gonna grab our 6/0 hook sitting right here, and we're gonna get to work with the big boy. So let's rig it up. And here she is. Where is she? This thing is massive. Oh my gosh. 7-inch super fluke. Literally have never fished one of these in my entire life. And I don't know if I ever will again after this, but look at that. That thing's huge. See if you can see better over on this side. Massive. So, we're going to Texas rig it as we did everything else so far. Pop that through there. Come out the belly. I got this on the 6/0 hook with 17-pound test. I think that might be all we need. I don't know how a fish is going to eat this unless I find some giant one. Look at that. That's absurd. Okay. What's the action look like? Sink's good. Dart's good. Okay. Oh my gosh, does it cast? That's a big bait. No way. Literally my second cast with it. And that's not even a big fish. What? That's unbelievable. I mean, that bait is as big as him. I'm in shock. We'll throw him back. Let's keep going with this one. Because now we have to determine if this is actually the better one. Because that took 3 casts. I don't know how that took 3 casts. I don't know how that fish ate this bait and got the hook in his mouth. But it did. I'm not going to spoil it. At the end of today's video, I will link, I did this same challenge with a Senko. The funny thing is I've done this same challenge with a Senko and I've done this same challenge with a swim bait. I'll link both of them. They're in consecutive order. The swim bait will be second. The Senko will be right after this video. Go watch them and see what else you find out. I know this is a plug on myself like anything, but I'm serious. I've been so shocked with these challenges, using them and having these types of baits. Like, I've never fished this bait before. And I catch one on my 3rd cast with it and it's 10 inches long. Like, what are the odds of that? Go watch those other 2 and see what you find out from that one too. I think you'll be surprised. For now, I'm just gonna keep chucking this thing and we're gonna see what happens. And then if we can absolutely catch nothing else before we gotta head in, that's when we'll break out the junior again and we'll see what happens. There we go. He destroyed that. Little guy, but he crushed that right on top of the water. He thought it was a little bait fish. He came up and destroyed it. Let's get you guys brightened up back here so you can see what's going on. And that's gonna do it for today's video. We're gonna have to head in for dinner, but I hope you guys enjoyed the little fluke challenge today. My conclusion from today: every fluke works. It doesn't matter which size it is, apparently. They all catch fish. We're gonna get him back in the water. Use the one that works best for your fish or the size of bait that you have in your water, and you'll probably catch fish with it. It works all the time. I catch tons of fish on flukes. Today we just used some different sizes I've never used before. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, check this Senko video out right here. Like I said, you're gonna wanna see that one and then the swim bait one before. All of them shocking results on each one of them. So go check those out and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any more of my fishing videos coming up. And leave me some suggestions on what you want to see me do next. I've had a blast doing these videos and want to keep them coming. So let me know what size videos you want to see next.